Hey guys, Scott here with SJC Fit. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing a question that I hear often from a lot of my clients. And that question is, how what is the best way to increase muscle size? So looking at this question, there's a lot of different methods, and a lot of people would jump to the conclusion that protein will end up building your muscles as large as they can. And when there is some truth to that, to some extent, it involves a lot more than just consuming a lot of protein. You need to be looking at consuming a properly balanced meal, but basically making sure that you're consuming your protein and not just avoiding it. And it also depends on the type of or the style of workout that you're doing. So to start off, I kind of want to go over a little bit about how much protein is the right amount for you. So the Center for Disease Control actually recommends that, let's see if I pull this up here, they recommend that it's imperative to have 46 grams of protein for for women, and 56 grams of protein for men. So to be honest with you, that is a really small number if you're trying to build muscle. But according to the CDC, this is what we should be consuming, or at least be consuming. So when you take that into perspective, that's about 10 to 35% of your daily intake is protein. And so that's kind of a goal that you want to make sure that you're at least hitting on a daily basis. But if your goal is to build muscle mass and just build the bulk that you see in the gym, you want to make sure that you're at least consuming about 1 gram of protein per pound of body fat. So what that means is, take me for example, I weigh about 185. So for me, I should be consuming about 185 grams of protein in a day. Now, that is a decent amount of protein to consume for a male. Now, you take a women's weight, and you're probably going to see a little less amount of protein, but it still is difficult to consume that amount of protein in a day. To put this into perspective, I've kind of put together some foods that you might typically see on a meal plan or something that you're familiar with, and we can kind of correlate how many grams of protein per amount of food is in this. So a small 3-ounce piece of meat has about 21 grams of fat. So now think about 3 ounces. 3 ounces is actually a relatively small piece of meat. So what I always say, protein should be about the size of your palm. That's how much protein you should be having. That's about 8 ounces, or a deck of cards, if you could look at it that way. So 3 ounces is a very small amount of meat. But that is about 21 grams of protein. Of course, this varies with every single type of meat you have, but if you're looking at chicken being the number one protein type meat that you could probably eat, you're looking at about that. And so honestly, you can get protein in any kind of meat, but I recommend chicken. I love chicken. I love ground beef. I'll eat ground beef, and sometimes I'll do ground turkey. Whatever it might be, my meal plan varies every week, but I do take into consideration the amount of protein that I'm consuming. So another food that you can think of, so 8 ounces, an 8-ounce container of yogurt has about 11 grams of protein. And 1 cup of milk has 8 grams of protein. And 1 cup of dry beans has about 16 grams of protein. So taking that all into perspective, you can kind of get an idea of what it might look like for you on a daily basis to be consuming your body weight in protein per gram. So it's obviously best if you eat your protein through the natural way, through foods that you can buy at the grocery store. Now, if you're trying to, if you find it difficult to reach 185 grams of protein in a day, that's where protein supplements come into play. And so that's where you can go to your local grocery store, find protein, whey protein. It's a dairy-based type of protein. If you're lactose intolerant, I think there is a vegetable type of protein that you can get as well. But there are protein supplements, and those supplements are solely meant to supplement your protein intake for the day. Don't try to consume 185 grams of protein through the protein supplement. One, that is going to be disgusting. Two, you're going to get really tired of that. And three, there's so many other nutrients within foods that you're consuming that you want. Don't just consume the protein. Take advantage of all the nutrients that you find within your foods while calculating your protein in your diet. So knowing that, obviously what you eat is really important. You want to make sure that you're consuming a properly balanced, full meal, a meal that you can feel satisfied with. Don't overdo how much you're eating. Don't stuff your face. Listen to your body. When you're hungry, eat. When you're full, stop. So as simple as that sounds, that's really what you should be looking for. Try to keep a journal. Sometimes if you're not sure of how much protein you're consuming in a day, take your first week, keep a diary or a journal, and record how much protein that you're eating. Look at your foods at the end of the day. Look it up on Google, it's really simple, or look on the nutritional facts and calculate how much protein that you consumed. And then tweak it from there to get yourself closer to that amount of protein that you should be consuming, especially if you're an athlete or if you're active 4 to 6 days a week. So keeping that in mind, now we're looking at the nutritional side now we've looked at the nutritional side of things, let's look at the physical side of things. So what this means is the type of training that you're doing. So if we're again looking at that original goal of trying to build muscle, what is the best way to build muscle? Well, the best way to build muscle is most likely through strength training or any kind of dynamic training. It doesn't matter if it's dynamic or static. You can be doing Olympic lifts, you can be doing isolated lifts. But the trick here is that you're lifting heavy weight. Yes, this is where you are pushing yourself to lift as much weight as you can, as safely as you can, with the proper form and the proper personal trainer by side if you need it. But make sure that you're doing this with proper form, but make sure you're lifting heavy weight. So what we always say is if you're trying to build muscle, lift heavy weight and lower your reps. If we're trying to tone muscle, so really get that lean cut look, but maybe not necessarily build the muscle, then you're going to want to do lighter weight with more reps. So keeping those two things in mind with what we're looking for in this video, how to build muscle, we want to lift heavy weight with lower reps. So what that means is 6 to 8 reps for maybe 3 to 4 sets at a 75-80% weight. That you know you're comfortable lifting as safely as you can. So it's of course going to be a difficult thing to do in the gym when you're trying to lift really heavy weights, but that's one of the best ways you can go through within the gym if you're trying to build as much muscle as you can and get that bulkier look. So with that in mind, I hope this video really helps. I kind of put it together really quick, so I hope it does help you and kind of gives you a little bit more insight on what you should be doing if you're trying to build muscle. What is the best way to build muscle? So again, looking at your nutrition and looking at your exercise regimen in the gym, taking those two things into consideration and everything I've said in this video, and you should be well on your way. So hope this helps, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, bye for now.